Welcome, all of you unfortunate souls on the internet who have found this place. This is Man Buns and Jesus. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Laborious. The other guy who will talk in a little bit is your other host, Ben Olschlager. We are pastors and we sometimes talk about Jesus-y things. We sometimes don't. And this is episode 29 of this particular podcast. So, what are we talking about today? Is it a Jesus-y thing or a non-Jesus-y thing today?
Yes.
That's the theological answer.
Yeah, that is the theological answer. Um, we talk a lot about our ministries and things related to that and how our life as pastors intersects with the world. But we don't, other than the episode that came out a few weeks ago about hockey, we don't take that many opportunities to just kind of talk about like who we are as people. Um, and so this week we're gonna
Degenerates is the answer.
Yeah, there's some of that, or a lot of that. Uh, but this week we're going to take an opportunity to kind of share a little bit about who we are, what we like to do. Um, and since it's Thanksgiving, we're going to do that in the lens of what are we thankful for outside of work. Um, it's important for us to be able to balance our vocations, um, and be able to give ourselves rest and Sabbath and um find ways to do things that aren't work related. So yeah, we're going to talk about that.
You
I'm
want me to
throwing Josh a
start? Is
little
that what
shade
you're?
here.
Is
I'm
that what
throwing
you're?
Josh a little shade here. Um I guess starting off, Josh, what is one thing that you are thankful for outside of work? And I will add the caveat, you cannot say your wife or dog.
Oh, come on! That's just. No, I was actually thinking about this the other night, and this might be a little bit out of the range that you were thinking about, but um, last night I was watching a Predators game, or not last night, 2 nights ago. I was watching a Predators game,
Was it the one
and
where they beat the Wild?
it was that game. So
It's all right.
um,
We
no,
we
that's
kind of
not.
stink this
I
year.
mean, I'm thankful that we won. I am, but not where I'm going with this. But it made me think back to my last year at seminary. And my last year at seminary, second, my middle younger brother lived with Chris and I because the circumstances with his housing at Washington University didn't really work out. We had an extra room, so we're like, yeah, just come live with us. And it worked out great. But almost every single Preds game that season, the three of us sat on the couch and watched the Predators. And sitting there watching the Preds game the other night, I was thinking back to that, and I was like, man, I really loved watching all those games with Caleb and being able to share that time with him. Um, so all that to say, I'm really thankful for my brothers, all four of them. I feel like I'm really lucky to have the sibling relationships that I do because I do not know a lot of people who, as adults, would say, "Yes, I would love to live with my brothers again." Um, and I was thinking about that the other. This is what I was thinking about last night. I was like, "Man, if one of my brothers came to town, I would be over the moon happy about that." So, I'm thankful for the relationships I have with my brothers. How about that, Ben?
I dig it. I dig that. I'll allow it. Uh, I would second that too. I've got three younger brothers, and um, I feel like I'm pretty close to all of them, and um, it's fun to catch up with them and see what kind of shenanigans they're getting into. And
Now, the
uh,
real question: do any of them listen to this podcast?
do any of them listen to this podcast? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that I think at least two of them have tried it. I don't know if any of them still regularly listen. Uh, but we'll find out, I guess.
I'm pretty sure that three of my brothers have never heard an episode, but
Okay.
one of them listens almost every week. because for whatever reason, someone at his church found this podcast and said, "You got to listen to this." And he was like, "Bruh." So occasionally he'll send me a text message making fun of something we said on air, and
Yeah,
it's great.
as
It's
he
great.
should. As he should. My first one, and this is more the direction I was thinking, is frozen pizza dough.
What?
Yes. Wait,
Hold on. What?
frozen pizza dough. Like, you can buy the dough in pre-portioned like amounts that go in the freezer, and then when you want to make pizza, you pull out like the pre-sectioned pieces of dough, and you can cook them up and make pizza. Do you not know that was a thing?
I mean, I knew conceptually. Do you know how easy it is to just make the pizza dough?
You're right. It is easy, but also I've had no time in the last couple of weeks. Neither has my wife. And so we just got a couple of things of frozen pizza dough. Anyway, I say all
But
of
yeah,
this
I mean,
because
go for it.
I've had some pretty bomb pizza in the last few days, and I didn't have to do a whole lot to make it. Uh, and making good food and then sharing it with my wife, like, it's a good time. And
I
I'm
thought
I'm really
wives were off
thankful for
limits
this.
here.
They are, but the pizza dough is what I'm thankful for. I'm always thankful for my wife, but right now I'm especially thankful for frozen pizza dough. Hey,
Um,
I usually make
you
my
got
own
to
pizza
echo my
dough.
brother one. I'm gonna echo that in a little. I'm thankful for the Domino's 6.99 deal
I love that.
because it's phenomenal and it's always there. And Domino's pizza is cheaper than DiGiorno's. Don't let anybody lie to you.
Mhm.
It's
Per
cheaper
square
to go
inch,
get
for sure.
yourself a pan pizza from Domino's than it is to get a DiGiorno's. Cook it
Especially if you get in
yourself.
on especially if you get in on those like rewards programs and you earn a free pizza after every like 8 pies or whatever. Yeah, do it. We don't use Domino's, we use a local place, but same kind of deal. Um, worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth it.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Um, so this is a really personal one, actually. Uh, not
Josh going
super
hashtag
personal.
deep.
Oh no, you
Okay.
misread me.
Okay.
Uh, I have just been feeling really, really good about myself in the weight room lately.
Mm.
Like for those of you who have never lifted weights, something magical happens when you lift weights, and it's called the pump. Okay, it's when all of your blood is flowing to your muscles and your muscles are active, and so they look bigger and more well defined than if you're just like sitting on the couch relaxing. So lately in the gym, I've been, lifting my weights, going through my regimen, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, dang, that guy looks good. And I'm really happy about it because Josh with the pump looks great. I wish the entire world could see me as the gym sees me. And that is all. So I'm thankful for the pump. Yeah, deep? No, shallow. As shallow as possible.
Hashtag deep. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Thanks. I
Um,
do my best.
let's see. I'm thankful for comfortable shoes. Um, dude, I so I have massive feet. Um, I wear a size 13
You know
wide.
what that means, everybody? Big socks.
Yes. Um, I wear a size 13 wide, and it can be really hard to find shoes. But my wife started wearing barefoot shoes not too long ago. Do you know
Are
the
those the
concept
toe
behind?
shoes?
No, they're not the toe shoes. They're designed to basically make you feel like you're walking barefoot even though you're wearing a shoe. So the sole's really thin, there's no arch support. They're flat. Um, it's supposed to help you strengthen your arches, but they're also really comfy because they're designed to let your toes spread out when they hit the ground. and I've never had a shoe that actually fit my toe box until now, which has been great. So yeah, I'm thankful for shoes that fit.
This is a weird episode, Ben.
You're right.
Um, okay, let's go the other direction. I just talked about being a total lunk. I'm thankful there's a strategy game that I've been playing in some of my off time called Rome Total War, and I'm really good at it. So thankful for I own like in the world of the game, I've conquered like half the planet. So go me. I just killed off Egypt, which is an accomplishment because Egypt is really great in this game. Anyway, I've really been enjoying that. Like it's something that like I don't know. It satisfies like an organizational part of my brain, I think. So thankful for that.
I'm thankful for a grandpa that hunts because it means that I get venison. Uh, and I've been recently eating some of what he gave me last year. I made some really bomb uh, ground venison and beef meatballs. Um, put some of them on said pizzas that I made earlier this week. Save some for future pasta nights, but they're pretty fire, and I'm pretty excited about them. And thankful that my grandpa has extra to go around and is willing to send me home with some. Yeah.
There you go. I am thankful for a man named John Carolus who has he's out here in the Pacific Southwest District with me, and he's just been a really great encouragement and support lately for a lot of different things. So um, I'm really thankful that I got to know him at the seminary, uh, and I'm really thankful that I kind of get to continue that friendship with someone who's, well, I wouldn't say close, but a lot closer than any of my other friends. So shout out to you, Johnny, Uncle John. Hearing that moniker after he, Sean Baker, and I played in a off-campus soccer league, and after one of our seasons ended, he took Sean and I out for ice cream. So he officially became the cool uncle. I don't know if he knows that, but he's cool Uncle John. So
Is that almost equivalent to like when we played with Andrew Nelson and we started calling him dad?
yeah, same exact situation. Except John Carolus got to be the fun uncle, and Andrew Nelson was dad.
Touche. I hope Andrew and John find this episode of this podcast.
Oh, I'm going to be tagging John in it. So
Okay, good.
whether or not he listens to it, I don't know. But
Yeah. I think I'm also thankful for friends. Especially like I was fortunate enough to land here in Michigan about a half an hour away from a good college friend of mine. And that's been an incredible blessing to have him around as someone that like I can hang out with, shoot the breeze with. He's not a member of the congregation, which is nice because there are
which is
times where,
important.
yeah, there are times where you kind of need to get outside that bubble for a little while and relax and rest and just enjoy someone's company without it like directly dragging back into work related stuff. So been really thankful that David's around, and he's getting married next weekend, or not next weekend, 2 weeks from now. So very excited for that.
Way to go, David.
Yep.
I am thankful to have a balanced budget, like personally, because for a long time we just kept getting, because like theoretically, right, we always have had a balanced budget because we know what we take in every month and we have allocated that to everything we need to spend money on. So like, but for years things have just been coming up and we've been playing catch up, right? Like um fourth year, there were some expenses that came up related to school that kind of caught us. And then right when we thought, oh, it's gonna be fine, and I'm gonna start making real person money and whatever, and then I got in a car wreck a week before we moved to California, and had to then pay to ship the car from St. Louis, where it got fixed, to California. So we then spent however many months playing catch up for that. But this month, knock on wood, my guys, budget is balanced. We have money going into our like savings account for stuff that we know we're gonna have to pay for that's not due yet. So like quarterly taxes, we could do a whole podcast about quarterly taxes. They're not fun. For all those of you who are just regular old W-2 employees, count your blessings, because quarterly taxes suck. So yeah, thankful for a balanced budget. I'm really happy we have what we need, and we're in a stable place. So
Yeah. I'm thankful for local dives. Um,
what a hipster thing to say.
yeah. Yeah. So when I first moved here to Michigan, we're kind of on the outer edge of the suburbs. And like I grew up in Minneapolis, where I have like a very distinct idea of what a like local dive restaurant kind of place is supposed to look like. And they don't exist in that form here because everything's in a strip mall. So you have to do like, in my mind, you have to do more research to find out like, do people actually like this place, and how long has this place been here, and like, is the food actually good, or is it just kind of on reputation that, like, is this place on reputation somewhere that's actually good, or is it just like they have a flashy sign and they happen to be in the clean looking strip mall? Because those things actually make a difference. um and we keep kind of trying places and finding like actual like little local gem restaurants. And it's always fun for us to find somewhere where like eating food that somebody that probably lives in the neighborhood made, or somebody that from church knows them, and somehow there's some random connection. And like there's an ice cream place up the street owned by the husband of one of our former preschool teachers. And it's one of our favorite ice cream places in the neighborhood. So it it's a good time to find the little local gems for food. Or um, we went to a reclaimed wood store the other day. Um, yeah, it was actually pretty awesome. Um, Found like some boards for shelving, and kind of took a look at what else might be there for future projects. And um, kind of a neat place to wander around. And I always like the smell of sawdust, so I had a good time.
It's a pretty great smell. Yeah.
It is. Certainly is.
Um, I'm trying to decide whether or not this one counts. Um,
You can say it. I won't ban you from it.
I'm thankful for the district that I get to be a part of. Especially like they've been very supportive of me as a young pastor, and kind of investing effort into helping me grow, helping me learn. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for the district president, who's actually taken some time to get to know me. I've never had that experience before, right? Like, pretty sure if you had asked any of the previous district presidents I've been in the district of, they wouldn't have been able to tell you who I was. Like all the guys at seminary, they were like, "Yeah, I got a beer with my district president over this break," and I was like, "My district president doesn't know my name. What you talking about?" Uh, but Mike does know my name, and he knows me, and he's been very supportive. So I'm
Awesome.
appreciative for my district.
I don't know if my new district president knows my name, but my old one does. We just elected a new one over the summer, and but at Fall Pastures Conference this year, as I'm sitting together with my circuit. We went out to get a beer together. Um, the former president at that point, former president of the district, walks by outside. I pointed out, my circuit visitor gets up, like chases him down, drags him and his wife back in, and we went from a circuit like gathering where we were just drinking together and talking about how ministry and stuff was going to. There were like 20 pastors there talking shop, and like some of the old guys are talking to the young guys and comparing stories and like things that worked in one place and didn't in others. And uh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I I got a lot of free beer.
Now we see what Ben is really thankful for.
uh yeah.
Eh,
uh yeah.
eh.
um that doesn't really count as my one though.
Oh, it
um
doesn't. Ha! Go
ah
again,
yeah.
scrub.
um I'm thankful for good neighbors. um the neighborhood that my wife and I moved into, um when we moved here, uh we landed between a couple of pretty good neighbors. One is incredibly kind and helpful. um I think he mowed my lawn a couple of times when we moved in before I got a lawnmower. um he's helped us find
That's so
backfill.
Midwestern of him.
Yeah, I know, right? He's helped us find backfill. He's uh like lent us wheelbarrows and tools and stuff to work on the yard with, and um offered suggestions. Like he used to breed and train dogs, and so he's helped us with some suggestions on what we can do with our dog, who uh likes to be a problem at times. um And on the other side, we've got a guy that knows how to fix just about anything with a small motor in it. So it's an incredibly nice resource to have. So he's already
Yeah.
done some things to my lawnmower a couple times, and um, I need to ask him to fix the snowblower before too long. But um, yeah, and he's also like helped us find like a wheelbarrow and um, some other tools and stuff, because he's one of those guys that will fix old stuff that people are trying to throw out, and then he'll turn around and sell it. But he sells it to me as his neighbor at a discount to what he would sell it to anyone else at. So appreciate that. And um, he's so nice. Uh, we've gotten food from his garden, and uh, yeah, just feel really blessed to have landed where we did with such great neighbors.
There you go.
Yeah.
Uh, you mentioned needing a snowblower. I am thankful that I live in a part of the country where I will never need a snowblower. The high today is 77 degrees where I live. And it's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I am thankful that I live south of the Mason Dixon line.
Can I
That's
crap
it.
on the state of Missouri?
Oh, by all means.
Okay, cool.
Please. I'd be insulted if you didn't.
I'm thankful that I no longer have to spend winter in St. Louis. Um, Josh hates the cold, so
I
I'm not surprised to hear him say that he's thankful to be living south of the Mason-Dixon. But as somebody that grew up in Minnesota, hence the hat, hence the short sleeves on a day where I think we're barely getting above freezing. Um, like I enjoy winter, but the enjoyable part about northern winters,
everyone, that is what Stockholm syndrome looks like when applied to
hey,
weather.
hey, I enjoy northern winters because there are things you can do outside when there is enough snow, and there is a certain beauty and simplicity to a snowy landscape that, like, it just hits the right, like, member berries if you're a South Park fan. Um, like, just
Uh,
brings brings back childhood memories and uh reminds me of the simple times. Um, but like when you're in Missouri in the winter, you get the worst of both worlds. Because like the worst part of winter in the South is the occasional ice storm, but you don't even get them that often, right? You get them once every few years. They're bad, but you can usually deal with them at that point because you're not getting them that frequently. And then in the north, the worst part is the blizzards that trap you in your house for a couple of days because you get a foot and a half of snow, and the it takes the plows a while to get out and clear everything. St. Louis gets both of those, but doesn't get to enjoy any of the upside of either. It never really gets warm enough to be like nice outside in the winter. So you get to deal with like 3 to 4 months of cold and gray. The snow doesn't really stick because it's just warm enough that it all melts within a couple of days, leading to some of that sloppy grossness that you get for 4 months. And then you get the snowstorms and the ice storms, but because they're far enough south, they don't invest in a huge like plow force. So it takes them forever to clear the roads. And like the ice, they almost kind of expect to melt before they can clear everything. So if you get a bad enough ice storm in St. Louis, it takes them a few days to get around and salt or sand everything to like actually make the roads drivable again. Um, so in other words, I think St. Louis winters are like the worst possible winters in the United States. And I'm glad to not be living there anymore for that specific reason. There are other things about St. Louis I miss, but the winters are terrible.
Knicks. Um, yeah,
We're
just
Fozzie
generally
sandwiches.
thankful I don't live in the Midwest anymore.
And
I
I'm thankful
know
that my state's not on fire 3 months a year.
any of you who live in the Midwest are like, the Midwest is great. No, it's not. Listen, I've lived all over the country. Um, I shouldn't say that. I haven't really lived in the Northeast or the Northwest,
You
but
haven't
I've
lived
lived
north of St. Louis.
silence.
You've never been to the Midwest.
The, what are you talking about? I lived in St. Louis for 3 years.
That doesn't count.
What?
Missouri's the like black hole in the middle of the country that is neither the South nor the North.
Whatever, man. Whatever. All I know is I'm glad I don't live in the Midwest. The Southeast is still the best part of the country, don't get me wrong, but I would take the West over the Midwest 9 out of 10 times. So, yeah. Um, man, you know what? I'm gonna break your rule because it's a stupid rule. I'm thankful for my dog because he is the cutest thing in the world. Like I just before we got onto this podcast, I was, this is the first thing I do in the day on Thursday. So I was finishing up some stuff around the house, and he's just laying curled up in his bed with his tail covering his snout, all cute, all rolled up. I had the cutest dog in the world, and I'm really thankful that I get to hang out with him all the time.
Since you broke my rule, I'm also gonna say I'm thankful for my dog because she's also really stinking cute, and she does lots of things that just like make us laugh a lot. She's taught herself how to play fetch with her own bone. She'll like she'll pick it up and then do one of these and flick it up in the air and then chase after it. Uh just love the enthusiasm there. It's incredible. She does some things that are also incredibly dumb, but hey, we'll live with those.
um, I'm thankful for bad cartoons.
Hmm.
Uh, this includes, but it's not limited to, Rick and Morty, Family Guy, South Park, Solar Opposites, um, American Dad to some extent, and Futurama. All these just great opportunities for me to turn my brain off for 22 minutes at a time. I love it.
I'm thankful for Detroit sports teams
I've never heard that one before.
because as an out of state sports fan, my teams usually only come to Detroit once a year. But all of their teams are terrible enough that it's a relatively inexpensive ticket if I want to go see their team
There it is.
or see my team. Um, so I got to see the Twins a handful of times this summer. Um, because I never had to spend that much money on a ticket. I got to watch the Wild play the Red Wings a few weeks ago. The Wild lost, but the Wild also aren't very good this year, so that's a different story. But I didn't have to spend very much on that ticket compared to what I would have to spend if I was in Minnesota. Uh, I haven't made it down to a Lions Vikings game yet, mostly because it's hard to for a pastor on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, you need a
Um,
Monday night game, is what you need.
or a mid afternooner. Um, like I guess you don't have mid afternoon time slot out on the West Coast unless you get the nightcap.
Yep.
Um,
The Sunday night football starts at 5 o'clock here.
yeah. We
The
get
early games kick off at 10 a.m., the same time our worship service starts.
so we get the 1 o'clock time slot, the 4:30 time slot, and then the night games start at 8. Um, and so if you get lucky, you might get the 4:30 slot, and maybe I could make one. But uh, yeah, I'm thankful for bad Detroit sports teams that allow me to see my Minnesota teams for cheap.
We might be making some enemies in this episode, as
You know
weird
what?
and
Yeah,
as
so
low
far
key
I've
as it is.
see, but here's the thing. Michigan sports fans, like they're really proud of their college sports. They're really proud of Michigan football, Michigan State basketball. Um,
Which is weird because neither of them are in the SEC. So why bother?
now you're making enemies. You're making enemies, not me
I
though.
woke up today and chose violence.
um, and to some extent they're proud of some of their sporting teams' histories, but right now they know that all of their teams suck and it's gonna be a road. Uh yeah.
Yeah.
Being in a sports market like Detroit will generate a lot of humility in your fan base.
Yeah. Although somehow still a mind-boggling loyalty. Anyway, um, I got one more. I'm gonna
You
break your
know?
other rule because I
Okay.
am very thankful for my wife.
I
I'm
was gonna let
thankful
that be our
because,
takeaway.
well, then this is my takeaway. I'm very thankful for my wife because all these things that I have listed, she is a participant in or a supporter of. Um, right? She is very supportive of me lifting weights, and when we don't have a dog to deal with, she would lift with me. Um, she sits and watches those bad cartoons with me. She sits and watches those hockey games with me. Uh, all these different things. She's right there, being supportive and being loving and being kind. So My wife is the best, and I love her very much.
Aw,
Shut up.
yeah. But like I said, this is our takeaway. We're both really incredibly thankful for our wives, and I'm thankful that my wife um doesn't
What's
let
up
me
with
get
all
away.
your nonsense?
Yeah, doesn't let me get away with anything either. Um, it's nice to have someone in my life who like is willing to tell me something straight. There's no angle, there's no um like they're not dancing around it. It's just, Ben, you did something dumb. Or
I imagine she has to say that a lot.
eh, eh, reasonably. Ben, you didn't phrase that very well in your sermon. That one I've heard a few
Ouch.
times. It-
Ouch.
it's fair. She's right. Uh, like she puts up with me, she puts up with my shenanigans. Um, and she still loves me. And I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what else we're thankful for on this podcast?
Jesus.
Well, now what I'm gonna say sounds bad. I was gonna say we're thankful for all the people who subscribe on their favorite podcasting platform. Um,
That too. That too.
this was a weird episode. We're proud of you for sticking through it with us. We're thankful for all of you guys who subscribe, who show us that this is worth the time we put into it every week. A new opportunity for you, if you would like, devotional reminders or podcast reminders. So if you want to get a text when the new podcasts come out, or you want to get a text every day of the week with a reminder to do devotions and some links to different devotional resources, you can do that by texting JOIN, JOIN, to 951 800 DEVO. That is 951 800 3386. You can do that, and it'll send you a link back. You got to click the link and put your name in, because then it can autofill your name when it sends you robotic texts. And then it's going to send you one more. After you do that, it sends you one more message, and it gives you a menu of options 1 through 7, and you get to pick how frequently you get text messages from this number. Right? If you just want a podcast reminder, I think it's option number 4 or something. If you want devotional reminders and a podcast reminder, it's option 5, I think. So you pick how much you get involved, but it is there for you. It's there for you to use if you would like. That's a resource that Edgewater is making available, and anyone from any of our listening base is welcome to also take advantage of that. And finally, we have a Facebook page. Check it out if you want. Message it if you have topic ideas. We'd love to hear them. We'll talk about anything, literally anything. There's no off limits. So, yeah. With all that
Happy
being said,
Thanksgiving.
happy Thanksgiving. Brothers and sisters, go in peace, serve the Lord, and enjoy some turkey.
Thanks be to God.